Hi folks, I'm Bruce Colodny, the California gun attorney, GunLaw.com, and for over 30 years I've been very busy in the California courts defending gun owners in California, the state which no doubt has the strictest state gun laws in the entire USA. Now what I'm going to talk about primarily in this video is a huge percentage of the criminal cases where I'm defending a gun owner here in California. It could have been avoided because the client's problems began with an unnecessary traffic stop. And one of the most common reasons that an officer makes a stop is for equipment violations. For example, California requires that a vehicle have a front plate and a rear plate displayed. Now, this doesn't apply to motorcycles or tractor trailers, but unlike next door in Arizona, if you don't have that front plate on your car or truck, it's a violation of the vehicle code. It's absolute probable cause for the officer to stop you. And unfortunately, I know from decades of experience that when a gun owner is stopped as the subject of a traffic stop, it's often it's downhill from there. In addition to no front license plate, another very common reason to justify a traffic stop are California, we have license plates issued that you hold on to for years, and every year you have to renew your registration and put a current registration tab on the rear plate. Keep your registration updated. If you don't have current registration tags on your plates, it's probable cause for the officer to stop you. Another big problem are burned out lights, particularly license plate lights. And how do you avoid this? Before you're going to go shooting, go to the range, go to the gun show, anywhere where you're going to drive and have a firearm with you, have somebody sit in the driver's seat, you go around back, and you go through a little drill. You tell them step on the brake pedal so that you can check to make sure both brake lights work, have them turn on the headlights, make sure all the tail lights work, and that all your license plate lamps are working. Tell them signal right, signal left. Then go around to the front and go through a similar drill. Don't give an officer an equipment violation as his reason to stop you. Now, despite another subject is obey the rules of the road. I've had cases where somebody's been clocked on radar driving 85, 90 miles an hour on a stretch of freeway here where the speed limit is 65 miles an hour. They're going 50 in a 30 zone. Obey the rules of the road when you're driving with a firearm in the vehicle. Again, do not give an officer probable cause, the legal justification to stop you. I also recommend that despite it's clearly your First Amendment right to put pro-gun and firearm-related decals and bumper stickers on your vehicle, as long as you don't cover the glass in violation of the vehicle code, I recommend you not do it. I know that's a bit of a siege mentality, and to paraphrase the old phrase from the 60s, the old saying from the 60s, just because they're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. Let's face it, folks, if you have anything firearms related in the way of decals or bumper stickers, sort of like if you're driving a Volkswagen van with a Grateful Dead sticker, an officer's going to get it in his mind that there's contraband in that vehicle, and they look for an excuse to stop you. All right. I also recommend that when you have a firearm in the car, don't wear firearms related clothing. So leave that Remington t-shirt or that Winchester jacket at home. Don't have an old copy of Guns and Ammo magazine on the seat. Nothing that'll suggest to the officer that there's a firearm in the car, because oftentimes these encounters do not go well even though you're fully compliant with the law. We have a tremendous amount of firearms laws on the books in California. Even though I use online legal research, I still buy a new copy of the California Penal Code every year. And in the 2017 version, the Dangerous Weapons Control Law section of the part of the Penal Code is about 265 pages long, and it's in about size 9 font, 2 columns per page, no charts, graphs, or photographs. Plus, we have all the reported appellate court opinions, California Code of Regulations. Officers don't always know the law. Usually at least a few times every year, my client is charged with a violation where the officer wrote in his or her report that it was a violation. The district attorney who reviewed it before they made their decision to file the criminal case relied on the officer, and we end up in court making a motion to dismiss, or asking the DA to dismiss, after you point out that on the facts as written in the officer's report, there simply was no violation. Again, you want to avoid being the subject of a traffic stop when you have a firearm in the car. I also recommend that when you're driving with a firearm, whether you're going to the range, the gun shop, out to some of the remaining areas in California where you can still shoot out in the countryside, try to avoid unnecessary stops. I mean, sure, you have to stop for gas, you have to stop to use the restroom and for food, but avoid diversions. Also, and this is important, because I've seen this many times, when you come home from the range, you come home from a hunting trip, a gun show, unload the guns, take them inside. Now, what do you do if you're actually stopped by an officer? Well, first off, many, many years ago, I was a Boy Scout, so I believe in being prepared. And how are you prepared? Besides not wearing that Winchester t-shirt, you have your California driver's license, your current vehicle registration, and your proof of current insurance. You know where it is and you can get to it. Don't do something foolish that I've run into a few times in my career. Situation where driver's license, no problem, but proof of insurance, current registration, where are they? In the glove box, underneath the loaded .38 revolver that the person did not have a permit to have there. Now, in dealing with the officer, you may be questioned. I've had many clients tell me the officer said, do you have something to the effect of, do you have any guns, drugs, or anything else I should know about in the vehicle? You're not required to answer that question. You have a Fifth Amendment right to not incriminate yourself. You can say something like, officer, there's nothing in this illegal in this vehicle or on me. You can also say something like, officer, I've given you my current California driver's license, my current vehicle registration, and proof of current insurance. If you're going to issue me a citation, I'll sign it. If not, I'd like to go. Am I free to leave? And if the officer says no in response to the question, am I free to leave, then that makes it a detention. And that can be useful when I have to defend you in court. Now, you may also be asked during a traffic stop for consent to search your vehicle, including the trunk and locked containers. You should say no. If you don't say no, it makes it more difficult for me to defend you if there are Fourth Amendment violations which might otherwise support a winning motion to suppress evidence and not allow it to be used against you in a criminal case. Also, when you're talking with the officer, do not discuss your guns. For example, one of the issues in California assault weapon cases is whether or not you knew or reasonably should have known that the firearm had characteristics making it subject to regulation as an assault weapon. So don't talk. Say as little as possible. The vast majority of the people, the gun owners that I defend in California, have no criminal history or something very minor, maybe a drunk driving 20, 30 years ago when they were in college. And particularly with clients who've never been in trouble with the law before, maybe they remember what mama told them when they were little children. Honesty is the best policy. If you're ever in trouble, go to see Mr. Policeman. He's your friend. He'll help. Well, it doesn't always work that way in real life. The less you say, the better off you are. All right, and one more tip. If you're asked, I recommend that you not discuss where you were coming from or where you were going. The less you say during a traffic stop, the better off you are. Keep in mind also that many, many police patrol vehicles now are equipped with video recording devices which also pick up audio, and we're seeing a big movement in law enforcement here in California, where officers are now being issued body-worn video recording devices, also known as video cams. You've seen it on TV and in the movies over and over. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Don't talk to the cops. All right, that concludes this. If you have questions, I'd encourage you to go to my website, GunLaw.com. There's an article on this same subject. There's many other articles. There's some frequently asked questions. Virtually everything on my website is on the theory of preventative medicine. In other words, and it's based on the cases, the criminal cases I've defended for over 30 years. And what I'm trying to do is educate gun owners so that when they're in California, they can still exercise their Second Amendment rights, go hunting, go shooting, and not end up in jail or sitting across the desk from me at my office having to write me a check with a lot of zeros on the end. Finally, I'm a lawyer, so we have to have a disclaimer. The information in this video is general information only. It's not advice for your specific legal situation. The information that I've provided is also subject to change. The laws, some of these laws could be repealed. Don't count on that in California, though. More likely, they may be voided as a result of successful court cases. So thanks for watching. Good shooting, happy hunting. Come back soon and watch some of my other videos here on the YouTube channel. Good night now.